What's up guys? Today we're going over the flower sweep and its upgraded version, the super flower sweep. Yes, I know it's more traditionally called the pendulum sweep, but after 11 years of accidentally calling it the flower sweep, I'm in too deep to start now. So comment below which name you think the series should be called and why you prefer the flower sweep. Feel free to like and subscribe while you're at it. Alright, with that out of the way, there's a specific way I like to start the series off. It's the same way I get into all my arm bars, but not in the way people traditionally are taught. Pulling the arm across is just too damn hard. There's too much acai and Jesus in this sport on top of the mechanics just not working in your favor. It's too easy for people to roll their elbows backwards or pressure downwards, blocking movement of your hips in the process. So instead of trying to pull the arm across, we pull it straight upwards towards our neck, not outwards, as that just gives them a free post. They can still be too strong for this to work, but we can add more pressure to the pull by biting with our heels to lift our hips. Then, as we drop our hips, we pull the arm. And if they're strong enough that still doesn't budge their arm, well, Godspeed. But it's a hell of a lot easier, and I only have to get that arm to move an inch for it to unlock my hips. It's great if you can get it to move all the way, but we take what we can get. In a perfect world, I trap their arm with my neck or higher up on my chest. If you do, you can often end the match here if your opponent lets you keep the arm extended through sheer laziness or by trying to stand up while you have solid attachments. We just kick over and take the free victory. Alright, as we're pulling the arm, I dive my other arm underneath the same side leg, getting deep enough I can grab the fabric anywhere along their shoulder or arm. This grip is the biggest secret to making the flower sweep easy, so put in a lot of effort here to get it. More often than not, as you dive underneath that leg, they'll force their arm you're pulling into being a post. All I'm going to do is let go of that arm if I haven't already and switch that grip to the back of their collar. These two magical grips right here is why the flower sweep sucks in the Nogi compared to the gi. It still works, but we have to change things up and the success rate does go down. I'll get into that more a little bit later though. For now, your grip on their shoulder lifts their hips for you, while the grip on their collar lets us control their posture by either pushing or pulling. When combined, you have a counter for the majority of their responses from here. Now, one more step to add and we're set up. I'm going to swing or kick my leg out to get my hips to move like a rubber band. My goal is to get my hips lined up to either take them over their head or at a nearly 90-degree angle. Sometimes this looks like flailing for 15 seconds, and sometimes it's graceful and smooth in one motion. Both are correct and it purely depends on the opponent's size and pressure. Once we obtain a decent angle to finish the flower sweep, we pull down on their collar, we punch upwards with the arm under the leg, like we're throwing a shot put. We lift and push with the leg across the back, and we stomp or swing with the outside leg. Remember, this is a place of dynamic pressure. At any point along the path, if we feel like we can take the sweep, we just go for it then and there. But for those who are tougher, we have to do more work. Also, if you like this stuff, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. Alright, now for troubleshooting, as there's lots of ways people can struggle here. First is the most common issue. It's your own hip mobility. Take the time, drill some arm bars from guard, or if you have nobody else to practice with, do this hip motion on your own. The second issue would be the opponent's posting arm. The collar grip behind the neck is what saves us here. All we have to do to unlock our hips is take their weight off of that post. To do this, simply push with that collar grip, typically at the same angle of the post. If it's straight up and down, you lift upwards. If the post is outwards, you push directly opposite. The moment you feel the weight come off their post, retract your thigh while getting your angle, using that leg to pull their post inwards and immediately go for the sweep afterwards. Obviously, the collar grip is also used to prevent them from posturing up at any point. Now, in the Nogi, it's a little different. You don't get the fancy grips to do the work for you. You now have to use your bicep to push them away while being ready to grab the back of their neck to control their posture. We can try to use our forearm to push them away, but we lose the ability to pull their posture back down. So when they're just too strong, I switch to kicking out the back door. I found this motion makes more sense when starting from a failing triangle or when they rip out of an armbar. I push them away while extending my leg straight across their back. Using that as a pivot point, I swing my other leg wide up and around until my whole body is coming up behind them. As I do, the arm that was underneath the leg catches their knee and tries to pull it out for an easy sweep. If I don't pull the knee, I just have to be ready to wrestle. This move can be done in the gi as well, but there are safer, more effective options like the bird flip. In Nogi, this kick out goes hand in hand with the flower sweep in terms of utility. Now, the third issue we run into is, at any point, if they come down and club our head. They can push with the club while sprawling to clear our arm out from underneath them. If we didn't get deep enough on that dive, it'll instantly be stripped away. So long as we can keep the grip, I actually like when they club my head as it gives me free access to the collar grip. I can use this to lift their posture back up until I kick my legs out enough to sweep them again. I'll still be trying to force their shoulder grip before launching, as that just makes the sweep much easier. Coming up off the sweep, obviously my goal is to obtain mount. In the IBJJF rule set, we get 2 points for the sweep regardless, and 4 if we manage to keep them out. So as I'm sweeping them, the leg that's swinging and stomping tucks out of the way before their back traps it against the mat. Once you come up, you have a moment to put your opponent in a bit of a humiliating position that's actually kinda hard to get out of. As I come up and tuck my knee out of the way, I just connect the hand that's lifting the leg to the hand behind the head. They can't really buck you off from mount anymore as their movements become extremely limited. Pretty often they don't know what to do from here and just end up burning energy trying to pressure out your grip. If you're on bottom and you want to break out of this position, brace your arm against your knee to use it as a wedge. You don't get free of the mount, but you're now free of that cheeky spot. Now, at the start of this video, I mentioned the super flower sweep. This upgrade to the flower sweep is meant to help those of us who aren't quite as athletically inclined. There's people who I can't stop from sprawling out on my leg hook, usually because they're that much stronger than me. Sadly, that's a large amount of people, especially in the Nogi. Anyways, to set this up, I'm now going to focus on getting the lapel out opposite the side I'm going underneath. You can always just grab it and pull, but you want as much slack as possible. So to get the most out, you swipe it in one motion or rip it sideways. The more slack I get, the less I have to do to feed it to the other hand. Once I have control of the lapel, I'll dive underneath the leg, same as before. To actually feed it, I'm going to either take it straight to that hand or, more often than not, have to push them away with the lapel. If I can't make space like that, I can open my guard and use my knee to push them away instead. Once that's fed, I'm actually very secure to start hunting for whatever they give me while setting up the flower sweep again. For instance, if the opening is there, this can be a great time to snap a triangle or an armbar. If their posture is low, I'm going to grab behind the collar as normal and just go for the flower sweep. Feeding the lapel adds a security that they can never strip my grip from just sprawling out anymore. Unless they weigh 400 pounds. And at that point, why the fuck are you playing close guard? Assuming they're within the realm of normal humans, my outside leg will often be trying to hook behind their arm to pull that post in. Or my knee will retract into that post while I push them away with the collar grip. If they posture super hard though, get control of their sleeve with your free hand. Your free leg will swing over to become a deep lasso hook. Pull them into you with that deep hook trying to rotate their shoulder. The moment you feel like you can, switch your pressure to pushing them away while keeping a heavy pull pressure on that sleeve. Lifting with the lapel grip and pushing with the other leg. Often you can land in a great armbar territory here. Otherwise, just come up and let or force that arm free by just scooping it out with your knee. As always, another counter to posturing or standing up is the bird flip. If you see that sleeve in grabbable range, snatch it and then proceed to either force a bend in their elbow or start extending them away while rotating for an easy sweep. If you're having trouble feeding the lapel because they're just bearing into you, sometimes you can make them posture up in a panic by feeding the lapel around their throat instead. If they mess up and actually let this happen, you can use that for the flower sweep or potentially even just choke them out. If they decide to backstep, they kinda just end up sweeping themselves. Just hold tight onto the pressures and come up. As before, the kick out the back door is still an option here. Just push them away and swing that outside leg wide up and over until you're clear, letting go with the lapel as you finish coming up. If they decide to be way backwards with their posture, you can also place that outside foot on their chest and kick them over. I mean, gently push, just don't stop and look the ref in the eyes afterwards. Alright, that's it for this video. I really appreciate all the support that's coming in. If you have any techniques you want me to go over in depth, shoot me a DM or comment below.
Bye, have a great time.